Hello and welcome to Kashmir Now. I'm your host Shreya Savajay. Let's take a look at some stories of this week's episode. Pakistan's antipathy for people of illegally occupied POK badly damages tourism and agriculture. Load shedding and hefty bills continue to irk locals in the illegally occupied POK. Poultry sector to get a major boost in Jammu and Kashmir, hatcheries to play instrumental role. 12.5 lakh domicile certificates issued so far in Jammu and Kashmir. And over 50 irrigation canals constructed in Udhampur to end farmers' water woes. Do you ever wonder as to what is the status and standard of people living in Kashmir on the other side, the region under the illegal occupation of Pakistan? Does it also draw tens of thousands of tourists every year? Does it have a competitive agriculture potential? What about infrastructure? Or the fundamental question, are they leading a secure and dignified life? The answer is a colossal no. Anything and everything that could have rendered health and happiness to people of POK has systematically been denied. Today, we focus at how the landscapes in POK that are both captivating and fertile have been destroyed by decades of negligence and discrimination.
Clad with captivating sceneries, Kashmir has been dubbed as heaven on earth by many. This region under the illegal occupation of Pakistan too is blessed with pristine rivers, mountains and lush green fields. However, the people living in this region are some of the most dissatisfied and deprived people on the planet. Despite such surroundings, tourism hasn't been promoted. Their agricultural produce is poor and income low. Locals say their region has potential to stand at par with major international tourist destinations, but the government hasn't supported them. Born and raised in illegally occupied POK, Rashid Abbas Kazmi, one among the limited educated populace, says his region would be tourism hotspot like Thailand only if the state assistance was infused.
थाईलैंड जो इससे पहले तकरीबन एड्स के हवाले से ही मशहूर थी, उन्होंने सिर्फ फोकस किया टूरिज़म पे। अभी वहाँ पे वो टूरिस्ट मुल्क होने के अलावा एक नाब इंडस्ट्रियल मुल्क बन गया है। जब भी किसी इलाके में टूरिज़म होता है उसके बाद उसकी इकनॉमी जो है वो डेवलप होती है और हर किस्म की जो लोगों को रोज़गार के मौके मैसर आते हैं। जिस तरह फॉर एग्जाम्पल यहाँ टूरिज़म आएगा, लोगों को फल फ्रूट हैं ये मौके पे मिल जाएंगे, यहाँ पे बिकेंगे, लोग ख़रीद के लेके जाएंगे। फिर उसके अलावा जो होटल्स वगैरह वो चलेंगे, फिर छोटे छोटे गेस्ट हाउस बनेंगे, उससे लोगों को इनकम उनकी जनरेट होगी और इनके सोर्सेज ऑफ इनकम बुलंद होंगे।
Locals say that Islamabad focuses only at the districts and villages it deems fit for its own benefit. The others have been left reeling in abject poverty. While the farmers across the globe have enhanced their produce considerably with the government's support, POK still has low productivity owing to primitive cultivation styles practiced even today. Apple growers endure massive losses every year as farmers have failed in fighting the climatic distress owing to absence of tactics and technology. Farmers are clueless as to what is to be done to prevent losses. The production of a small village like the one of Kazmi alone has plummeted by 70 to 80% in less than a decade. he blames authorities for not making timely interventions.
ये फल और फ्रूट के हवाले से बहुत ही ज़्यादा मशहूर था। एक वक्त था यहाँ पे तकरीबन एक दिन में 3-3, 4-4 ट्रक जो लोड होके मंडियों में सेब के जाते थे। लेकिन बदकिस्मती या हमारे जो माल के इस तरफ चीज़ें कम हो रही हैं, अभी खाने के लिए सेब भी नहीं मिल रहा। तो महकमा ज़राअत तो हमारे पास है, लेकिन बदकिस्मती से वो जो सही मेनू में इन लोगों को गाइडलाइन नहीं दे रहा।
Pakistan claims to have granted autonomy to the region and an exclusive federal ministry for the affairs of this region. This, however, has proven to be nothing but a deceptive trick to keep international interference at bay. Some political observers even say that the region has only been exploited and plundered under the occupation of Islamabad, exactly opposite of Pakistani narratives which Imran Khan and his ministers have been regularly drumming at international platforms.
Moving on, Pakistan has not just destroyed the resources of the people living in its illegally occupied POK, but has also left them deprived of basic amenities like electricity. Even after housing major hydropower plants, the region is suffering with unscheduled and long hours of load shedding. Moreover, for the little electricity supply that they receive, they are charged with hefty bills, making it difficult for them to even afford this basic facility.
The underdeveloped region of illegally occupied POK has been facing unscheduled load shedding for over decades now. It's quite ironic that even after being the hub of hydropower generation, the region suffers long and persistent power outages ranging from 4 to 12 hours. POK is estimated to produce roughly 1,500 megawatt of electricity through hydropower projects, but even then, it fails to get its total requirement of 400 megawatt. Till date, Pakistan has only exploited the resources of the region, but has never returned the favor. Even after several appeals by the locals to both Pakistani government and its entity WAPADA, Water and Power Development Authority, that maintains power and water in Pakistan, nothing has been done so far. Today, the locals didn't have enough electricity to even run their small businesses or carry out their household chores.
लोड शेडिंग तो बहुत ज़्यादा है यहाँ, सुबह भी होती है, शाम को भी होती है और बाज़ दफ़ा जो है वो पूरा दिन बिजली गायब कर दी जाती है। तो इस सिलसिले में वफाकी हुकूमत भी इसका कोई नोटिस ले और इसका जो है वो तयन होना चाहिए कि कितना अरसा लोड शेडिंग होगी और वापडा के जो चेयरमैन हैं वो इसका नोटिस लें कि कश्मीरी अवाम को जो है वो लोड शेडिंग के अजाब से जो है वो निकाला जाए। यहाँ ज़्यादा लोड शेडिंग कर दी जाती है और चूँकि कारोबारी सिलसिला भी यहाँ है और लोगों की रिहायशी ज़रूरत भी बिजली की है, तो इस वक्त रात को बंद कर दी जाती है, सुबह को बंद कर बाज़ दफ़ा दिन को बंद कर दी जाती है। तो इसका कोई शेड्यूल होना चाहिए।
At one side, where locals are dealing with the menace of load shedding, on the other, hefty electricity bills are getting on their nerves. They say that there is a constant increase in the rate of electricity, plus a number of surcharges are applied. In the worst scenario, if a person is not able to afford the electricity and gets his connection cut, even then he has to pay the surcharge.
बिजली के नरखों में आए रोज़ इजाफ़ा होता है और एक शहरी जो मुलाजम है 20-25 हज़ार रुपये का, उसको 5-6 हज़ार रुपये बिजली का बिल जब आ जाता है तो वो फिर वो इतना अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकता। तो इसलिए एक तो बिजली का निज़ाम वफाकी हुकूमत के पास है, तो वहाँ से जो रेट्स आते हैं आए रोज़ इसमें इजाफ़ा हो जाता है, बताए बगैर इजाफ़ा हो जाता है, और बहुत किस्म के सरचार्ज भी लगे हुए हैं। और अगर किसी का कनेक्शन काट दिया जाए तो उसको पहले सरचार्ज लगाया जाता है, तो अगर सरचार्ज हो तो फिर कनेक्शन नहीं कटना चाहिए।
Due to continuous ignorance and a corrupt administrative system, the problem of load shedding is rising in POK with the passage of time and no resolution taking place in the future. Over the years, Pakistan has only shot down an ecologically abundant and economically prospering region and turned it into a neglected, backward and poor region of southern Asia.
Next, we move to Jammu and Kashmir, where hatcheries are playing a vital role in uplifting the poultry production in the Union Territory. Equipped with high-tech machines, these hatcheries have a capacity to produce thousands of chicks within 21 days and will play a significant role to get along with the surging demand of eggs and meat in the territory. Take a look.
With automated controls, sensors, high-tech incubators and so much more, the hatcheries in Jammu and Kashmir are all set to maximize the production of eggs and poultry meat in the territory. Situated at the foothills of Hari Parbat Fort on Makhdoom Sahib in Srinagar, these hatcheries are being constantly monitored by the experts and works in two segments. One is the technical section that receives eggs and does their grading, and the other is mechanical section which works on the hatching process. The poultry farmers from almost all the districts submit their eggs at these hatcheries. Once the chicks hatch from these eggs, they are distributed across various districts to those involved in backyard poultry farming through poultry development officers.
पोल्ट्री डेवलपमेंट ऑफिसर इनको बैकयार्ड फार्म में फिर डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करते हैं वहाँ पर। बैकयार्ड फार्म से मतलब है कि एक गरीब घर का या अमीर जो भी इसको पोल्ट्री चलाना चाहता हो, उसको 20 रुपये में एक चूज़ा मिलता है, डे ओल्ड चिक। तो वो बैकयार्ड फार्म में लगभग 20-25 चूज़े लेते हैं, उनको साल भर अंडे खुद निकलते हैं। उनको कभी मुर्गा खाना तो अपना घर से मुर्गा मिलता है, अंडे खुद मिलते हैं, तो इसलिए उनका भी रोज़गार चलता है। गरीबों का भी रोज़गार भी इस पर चलता है, वो अंडे बेचते हैं, मुर्गे बेचते हैं।
In Jammu and Kashmir, 84% of the total population is predominantly non-vegetarian, making it necessary for the government to take several initiatives for the upliftment of poultry sector. Even though the Union Territory contributes 51 crore eggs and 438 lakh kilogram of meat, it is still deficit in eggs by 46% and poultry meat by 31%. To bridge this gap between demand and production, the government of Jammu and Kashmir has recently launched J&K Poultry Policy 2020 to boost the production of table eggs to 146 crores and poultry meat to 1,250 lakh kilogram per annum. It will further curtail the annual import bill of approximately 900 crore, which is spent on importing poultry and its product from outside the UT. Moreover, the policy will also sustain commercial broiler and layer production in J&K, promote backyard poultry farming to improve rural livelihood and ensure the development of a dual-purpose breed for rural poultry farming. All new farmers, individual entrepreneurs, NGOs, companies, cooperatives, groups of unorganized and organized sectors, which include self-help groups, SHGs and joint liability groups, JLGs, are eligible to avail the benefits under the policy. Along with this, J&K government has also announced a dedicated UT allocation of rupees 50 crore as subsidy per annum for establishment of broiler, layer farms and other allied activities.
हर घर में लोग चिकन को इस्तेमाल करते हैं, कंज्यूम करते हैं। मार्केटिंग फैसिलिटीज़ भी उसको है और इसके अलावा साथ साथ वो इसका अच्छा खासा बिजनेस भी बन सकता है। जो भी इससे मुंसलिक होना चाहता है, गवर्नमेंट भी इसको इस ज़मन में मदद भी करती है, चाहे लोन्स देती हैं जिसमें उसको सब्सिडी भी मिलती है। ये सब चीज़ें उसको इसके अलावा भी मदद करते हैं।
Jammu and Kashmir has an enormous potential and conducive environment for poultry development on commercial lines. And with such government interventions and introduction of high-tech machineries, a number of people are now setting up their own poultry units in the region, creating employment avenues and taking a step forward towards making the Union Territory self-sufficient in poultry production.
It's been more than 2 months since Jammu and Kashmir administration began issuing domicile certificates. Until date, 12.5 lakhs such certificates have been issued. The new domicile policy that was introduced after the amendment of Article 370 and 35A has finally ended the decades-old struggle for citizenship, especially of those residing in the Union Territory for more than 7 decades with little rights.
After years of being denied all democratic rights, people who were hitherto aliens in their own land are now enjoying the permanent resident status and other privileges in Jammu and Kashmir. All thanks to the central government for making amendment in the Article 370 and 35A that paved the way for people to get domicile certificates if they fulfill the new norms, like the term of their stay in India.
ये बहुत ही खुशी की बात है कि हमारे जो बुजुर्ग थे वो 1947 के बंटवारे के दौरान आए और आज जहां 70 सालों के बाद जहां जम्मू कश्मीर की गवर्नमेंट जिन्होंने हमें यहाँ का नागरिक आज तक नहीं बनाया था और आज हमें खुशी हुई कि धारा 370 और 35 जब ख़त्म हुई और हमें भी जम्मू कश्मीर की जो मेन स्ट्रीम थी, मुख्य धारा जो थी जम्मू कश्मीर की, उनके नागरिक कहलाने का काबिल हम लोग बने। मेरे ख्याल इससे ज़्यादा खुशी हमारे लिए और कोई नहीं होगी। आज हमारे बच्चों को डोमिसाइल सर्टिफिकेट मिल रहा है, बच्चे नौकरियां भी कर सकते हैं, एजुकेशन भी ले सकते हैं, इवन के प्रॉपर्टी का जो उनका राइट है वो सारा का सारा जहां जम्मू कश्मीर में रह सकते हैं। और ये बहुत ही एक सराहनीय कदम जो था वो केंद्र सरकार ने उठाया।
Out of the 12.5 lakh domicile certificates issued till date, 99% were already permanent resident certificate holders but didn't have a domicile certificate. The other beneficiaries were 11,398 refugees from West Pakistan, 415 members of Valmiki Samaj, and 10 belonging to Gorkha community, besides 12,340 registered migrants. These Hindu and Sikh refugees migrated to Jammu city from undivided Punjab state during the 1947 partition, but even after several years, they have to work as sweepers irrespective of their educational qualifications, as they were not considered as the citizens of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, with the domicile certificate, the members of these displaced communities will be able to live a life of respect and dignity, as they are no longer the refugees but are living in their own country.
हमारा जो बच्चे हैं वो बहुत खुश हैं, पढ़ेंगे। अभी पहले हम लोग क्या थे, मैट्रिक से ऊपर पढ़ नहीं सकते थे, मकान बना नहीं सकते थे, ज़मीन खरीद नहीं सकते थे, कोई भी काम नहीं कर सकते थे। हमारे बच्चे का जो मोराल था वो डाउन रहता था कि पढ़ेंगे हम तो क्या करेंगे, कहाँ जाएंगे, क्या करेंगे, ठीक है नहीं। लेकिन अभी हमें बहुत ही ज़्यादा खुशी है, हमें, हमारे बच्चे भी खुश हैं, परिवार भी खुश है, हम भी खुश हैं।
While a few applicants are going for offline method by submitting all the required documents at the concerned Tehsildar office and getting the domicile certificate issued after the verification. Many are also applying online, which is more feasible, especially amid this pandemic situation, and avoid the chaos of standing in long queues. Applicants just have to do the registration and upload the required documents. Tehsildars or tax officers across the territory are receiving both offline and online applications every day, and they are issuing the domicile certificates within the stipulated time limit. Earlier, the government has set a proposed timeline of 15 days, which has now changed to 5 days for issuance of certificates, and if any officer is unable to do it, he is penalized with Rs 50,000.
पहले 15 दिन इसमें रखे थे, अब नया जो हमें ये मिला है ऑर्डर 5 दिन के अंदर अंदर इनको मिलना चाहिए। तो उसमें से हमें ये देखना पड़ता है कि अगर ऑनलाइन है तो उसमें एड्रेस चेंज होता है तो फिर वो उसमें प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है, उसमें हम नए कागज़ मांगते हैं। तो अगर किसी का एड्रेस ठीक होगा, बाकी फॉर्मेलिटीज़ ठीक होगी, तो हम विद इन 5-4 डेज इशू करते हैं।
The process of issuance of domicile certificates is picking up pace, and certificate issuance is being monitored regularly. This step by the government is ending the sufferings of lakhs of people, especially those who have been living in Jammu and Kashmir for years without any rights or privileges.
Agriculture plays a predominant role for the development of economy of Jammu and Kashmir. But the insufficient rainfall that is neither uniform nor certain hampers the agriculture practices. In such a situation, irrigation comes to the rescue. Today, about 25% of the total cultivated land in the Union Territory is irrigated, and authorities are continuously taking initiatives to strengthen the distribution network of irrigation from resource to farm. The recent one in the row is the irrigation canals that are constructed in different parts of Udhampur. Take a look. The Udhampur district of Jammu and Kashmir, where mostly maize, wheat and paddy are sown, is now witnessing the abundant cultivation of rice and vegetables as well. All this became possible after the district got around 50 irrigation canals that were constructed in different panchayats. Traditionally known as Kuls, irrigation canal is a hydraulic system whose main objective is to convey water from a source like dam or river to the areas to be irrigated. Earlier, all the water that the district receives through rainfall used to get drained into Tavi river, but now it is getting utilized for irrigation.
ये 50 कूल्स अलग अलग छोटी छोटी रिवलेट्स हैं, वहाँ से हमने उठाई हैं, रिवलेट से उठाई हैं, बॉलीज़ हैं वहाँ से उठाई हैं, नेचुरल स्प्रिंग्स हैं जो वहाँ से उठाई हैं, और आगे फिर ये हम इरिगेशन पर्पस के लिए यूज़ करें। आपको पता है कि उधमपुर बेसिकली जो है हिली एरिया था, और यहाँ पे जो मैक्सिमम जो पानी था हमारा, जो बॉलीज़ का पानी, स्प्रिंग्स का पानी या नेचुरल रेन वाटर है, वो नीचे दरिया में जाके, ज़्यादातर तवी में जाके आगे निकल जाता था और इसकी प्रॉपर यूज़ नहीं हो पाती थी। इरिगेशन क्लूल्स जो 50 से ऊपर हमारी यहाँ बन रही हैं, उनके बनने से सबसे बड़ा फ़ायदा ये हुआ है कि हमारी यहाँ पे एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्शन, पर्टिकुलरली राइस और वेजिटेबल्स एडिशन हो गया।
These irrigation canals are constructed by the Rural Development Department under the 14th Finance Commission and will help the growers to save their crops from drought conditions and increase the farm production. Farmers in Udhampur are availing their benefits and want that more such schools should be constructed in the near future as they mostly rely on them to water their crops.
जहाँ का एरिया जो था बहुत इरीगेटेड एरिया था और जहाँ के लोगों को बहुत परेशानी आती थी। गर्मी के मौसम में पानी नहीं होता था खेतों में जाने के लिए, लेकिन हमने नहर का प्रारंभ किया, नहर बनाई। उससे क्या हुआ कि लोगों को कम से कम 100-150 फैमिली को इससे बेनिफिट मिला है। तो हम चाहते हैं कि और नहरें बने, हमारे लोगों को हमारी फसल ठीक हो, हमारी फसल को उन्नति मिले और किसानों को जो है उनकी फसल ठीक ढंग से तैयार कर सकें।
In Jammu and Kashmir, about 9.72% of the total cultivated area is irrigated by canals. In Kashmir division, there are around 2,827 irrigation canals, out of which 259 have been taken over by the State Irrigation Department. In Jammu Division 2, a number of schools are being constructed which will not just solve the irrigation woes of the farmers but also help in doubling their income. So, that's all we have for you in this week's episode. Till we see you next week, it's goodbye from the entire production team.